Hi there, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through part 4 of this mini series, which is how I did the base for the cot bed mattress. So all the joinery on that and final finishing touches. Thanks for following along on this build. If you haven't already, check out parts 1, 2 and 3 and I'll show you how I got to this stage. So once I've milled all the wood up for the frame, I marked out all the joints to do some mortise and tenon joinery. I started out by drilling out the waste and then cutting a square profile before I cut the rest of the mortise out. I then cut all the tenons and then made sure they all fit nice and tight, and then did a dry fit with each one before putting it all together to check it was all square. Once all 4 corner mortise and tenon joints were done, I then fit it all together, checked it was square, and then I put it inside the cot bed assembled to make sure I had a decent fit at both ends. I then started working on the middle joint, which I wanted to be a lap dovetail joint, which would provide some support and also stop the middle from bowing or pulling apart. So once marked out, I routed the centre out and then chiselled the right up to the line where I'd marked out, just to get that accurate fit. Once I had the 2 edges to reference off, I was able to just take away the excess there and then use my router to profile the rest of the joint quite neatly and quickly. Once everything fit together, I did some roundovers on the internal edges where all the slats would be going into. This is because all the slats would be affected if I hadn't have done the roundover before cutting them out. Once I'd put the roundover in, I marked it all out, made myself a little jig, the exact width of the slats, so when I cut the piece out, the slats would just slot into place nice and tight. So like I did before, I just slid it along a piece of wood and cut out each slat groove for the slat to sit into once it was all connected together. I checked again to make sure they all lined up because I didn't want a slat being wonky at one end, and then I started cutting in all the corners after routering because the router leaves a rounded corner. Just finished off with a chisel to get everything nice and sharp. So that was the basic framework done, ready for the slats, and then I just needed to fix the lap dovetail joint. I did this by using 2 oak dowel pins that I drilled through, glued them in and then flush cut them. Once I had the slats all fitted, I then popped a little roundover bit on and then went back and forth over all the pieces to blend them in with the frame. So when they were slotted in, it was a nice smooth transition. So the cot base sits on top of pins that are in the main framework of the cot. So I routed out some grooves so they would slot in and bolt to the main framework. All components sanded, prepped and water popped. It was now time to apply the finish. I decided to use Rubio Monocoat, just the pure version. It just highlights the grain really nicely. It's really quick to apply and the finish it leaves is brilliant. So here's a little before and after of the cot side rails. Just really nice finish on the grain. And then you can see the cot ends up close, just the finish, the detail it brings out in the wood. So that brings us to the end of this mini series. Everything finished. The only thing left to do was assemble the cot. Thank you to everyone that's followed along on this mini cot build series. I've really enjoyed making this, and stay tuned for some future builds. I've got a few cool things coming up once I get round to editing it all. See you on the next one.